It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the films of April 21st, 2000. We got 4 movies to look at, so let's just go ahead and jump right on into it. And we'll start off with the biggest new release of the weekend, U571.
U571, rated PG-13, starts Friday, April 21st at theaters everywhere.
The story of U571, you follow a World War II German submarine boarded by American submariners to capture her Enigma cipher machine. You have a cast that includes Matthew McConaughey, Harvey Keitel, Bill Paxton, John Bon Jovi, Jake Weber, David Keith, Matthew Settle. This is the first film written by David Ayer, and this is a film from Jonathan Mostow, who had just done Breakdown a couple of years prior to this. It's a submarine movie, and it's a good submarine film. I mean, usually it's not that hard to make a good submarine movie. There's been a couple exceptions here and there. We'll eventually get to K-19 The Widowmaker in a couple of years from now, which is not very good, but this isn't quite Das Boot or Hunt for Red October good, but it's good enough on its own merits. It has a lot of the things that makes a good submarine movie. This whole thing is taking place mostly under the waters, and you really do get a very intense thriller when you're down here in the middle of the ocean with just this inside the submarine, and that's your only way to move around without getting any water on you. But then you get attacked by people, you get attacked by these other submarines and all that, and it does make for a very intriguing movie. The cinematography overall is top notch. The cinematographer for this is Oliver Wood, who's done a lot of different movies, not just with thrillers, but also comedies as well. He's done a lot of comedies for stuff like Freaky Friday, Talladega Nights, The Bourne series, Face Off, Die Hard 2. He's done lot of good. Shot a lot of great movies, and this is a really good movie. It's a well-made film. It's a movie that does keep you on the edge of your seat. It has a really great cast to show you the tension that goes on in here, and it's one of those movies that says, hey, long before he won an Oscar, Matthew McConaughey was a really good actor before he eventually went on that little spell of nothing but these lazy romantic comedies that we'll get to as we get to the rest of the decade. But yeah, U571 is a great film, and I highly recommend checking it out. So, with that said, on to our next movie, and that is Love and Basketball.
All her life,
I keep hoping you'll grow out of this tomboy thing.
people said she wasn't good enough,
It's time you start thinking about other things besides basketball.
but nothing could stop her
Starting your point. Thanks, Coach.
from making her dreams come true.
I never knew anyone loved ball as much as you.
In Love and Basketball, rated PG-13, starts Friday, April.
Starring Sanaa Lathan and Omar Epps, and this is the feature directorial debut for Gina Prince-Bythewood, who would later go on to direct many movies, including, I just had the name of one of them, and now I can't remember it. The Secret Life of Bees, that's one of them. Disappearing Acts. Most recently, she directed The Woman King, which was one of last year's best films. And in this movie, you have the story of Omar Epps and Sanaa Lathan, who are two next-door neighbors in Los Angeles who are pursuing their respective basketball careers before eventually falling for each other. And a combination of a lot of great things here. Great direction by Gina Prince-Bythewood, great writing as well by her, and two really phenomenal actors working off each other and creating some very good chemistry between one another. We've seen Sanaa Lathan and Omar Epps in other movies such as The Wood and The Best Man, and they've proven they can be really great actors and a lot of good stuff. And you also have great performances by Alfre Woodard and Dennis Haysbert in here. It's produced by Spike Lee. And it's just a really well-made film. It's a film that did not get the right attention at the beginning when it came out. It still made some money at the box office, but it went on to have this cult following over the years and essentially put itself into its pop culture cementation down the road, so much so that it actually got a Criterion Collection release not too long ago. And you can definitely see why. It's a very well-made film. It's got a lot of good elements to it. There's really not a whole lot of flaws to it. You do really get invested in the relationship between the two and wanting to see them pursue their dreams. And it does a really good job of handling that. Everything about the movie works very well. There really are not a whole lot of flaws I can really think about with this film the more I think about it. And it's definitely one you should definitely check out. Definitely for the performances alone, but to see a really good director making her feature film debut and doing a pretty damn good job at it. So not much more to say about this one. Definitely check out Love and Basketball. So with that said, on to our next movie, and that is Gossip.
The party was still going on.
Oh, did you tell somebody that something happened?
Absolutely not.
If you were bragging about it,
I don't need to lie about sex.
Whatever it is that you think I did, I don't know why you think that.
he's a murderer.
I didn't do it.
It can turn you on or turn on you.
You're not gonna get away with it this time.
I heard.
Gossip, rated R. Starts Friday, April 21st at a theater near you.
So the premise of this is that on a beautiful college campus, something ugly is about to be spread around. A bit of gossip that was told is starting to take a frightening turn. Who could have it offended, and how far will the person on the other side go to handle the embarrassing situation? And chaos ensues, of course, because why wouldn't it? We wouldn't have a movie then. You've got James Marsden, Lena Headey, Norman Reedus, Kate Hudson, Joshua Jackson, Eric Bogosian, Edward James Olmos, Sharon Lawrence, Risa Coughlin. A lot of great talent involved in the film, and a decent director, too. You wouldn't believe that this is the same guy that gave us An Inconvenient Truth, and also these other great documentaries, like Waiting for Superman, and still a Michael J. Fox movie, which just came out recently. And, yeah, this director, Davis Guggenheim, who has had better success as a documentary filmmaker. I believe this is his only film that he's done, as I'm looking to see some of these other movies here, so I'm not... Yeah, this is the only scripted film he's ever directed, and... I think we can be all glad that he took the documentarian route. Not because he's not a bad director, but he had to pick a better project than this, because this is a film that really is mostly dependent on a good script, and sadly the script is not it. This is a script that's really trying way too hard to have a message to it or try to be something like a big twist and turn film. This thing sat on the shelf for almost two years before it came out, so that should tell you everything you need to know about how bad this movie is. It's not a very good film. A waste of great talent all around. This one you could definitely skip, but like the plague. So avoid this one, like the plague, like I said. But I guess if you want to see Lena Headey and Norman Reedus in some early film roles before they eventually got involved with Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead, there you go. Or even Kate Hudson before she got nominated for an Oscar for Almost Famous that year. But other than that, though, it's not really worth it in the end. So let's go ahead and wrap this one up with probably the best overall film that came out this weekend, and that is Sofia Coppola's The Virgin Suicides.
Here, honey. You're not even old enough to know how bad life gets.
Obviously, Doctor, you've never been a 13-year-old girl.
So this is a story about a man about 40 years of age telling the story from when he was a teenager in upscale suburban Detroit of him and his friends, three of his friends' fascinations with the mysterious and doomed Lisbon sisters. In 1974, the sisters were 17 years old. 17-year-old Therese, 16-year-old Mary, 15-year-old Bonnie, 14-year-old Lux, and 13-year-old Celia. Their fascination still remains as they try to piece together the entire story. The sisters were mysteries, if only because of having a strict and overprotective upbringing by their father, who taught math at the girls' private co-ed school, and overly devout Catholic mother, who largely dictates the house rules. The story focuses primarily on the two incidences and the resulting situations in the girls' lives. The first was an action by Cecilia to deal with the emotions over her life, and the second was the relationship between Lux, the sister who pushed the boundaries of the household rules most overtly in doing what most teenagers want to do, and Trip Fontaine, who could have any girl he wanted, but he wanted solely Lux. Like I said, this is Sofia Coppola, the daughter of Francis Ford Coppola, making her feature film directorial debut, basically trying to say to people that I could be worth something in Hollywood after her very debatable performance in The Godfather Part 3, which was not the best, but certainly not the worst thing about that movie. And even then, I still like The Godfather 3. I like it more than most people do, but this was the movie that kind of showed that, hey, she's a Coppola, she's got the same directing chops as her famous father does, and she's got a really great cast to work with here. James Woods, Kathleen Turner, Kirsten Dunst, A.J. Cook, Josh Hartnett, Scott Glenn, Michael Paré, Jonathan Tucker, Danny DeVito. A really phenomenal cast in here, and just really well done. Really dark, really sadistic, really twisted. It just works on so many different levels. It features a lot of fantastic performances all around it here, and a great visual look to it. A soundtrack that's really well done, and it shows what Sofia Coppola could do as a director, as she's shown later down the road with the next couple of films she did after this. Lost in Translation, which is probably her best overall film, and then Marie Antoinette, which is a very criminally underrated film. And most recently, she just did stuff like On the Rocks, which was a really good movie that went on Apple TV with Bill Murray and Rashida Jones. And then most recently this year, she had Priscilla, which is, of course, the biopic of Priscilla Presley. That one I haven't seen, so I can't really say if it's any good or not. But she's made a lot of really good movies as a director. And this is a film that shows that, hey, she's got the directing chops to work with it. And she really does let it go. It's a really well-made film, fantastic film. Definitely recommend checking it out if you haven't seen it already. The Virgin Suicides. And so on that note, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. When we meet next time, we'll have 3 more movies to wrap up April before we head into the summer season. And we've got the sequel to the Flintstones, 6 years later, because 6 years later, the Flintstones are still popular. Surely they'll make something good out of it with the Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas. Maybe? Probably not. But that's the big one we'll look at. We'll also look at Jim Caviezel and Dennis Quaid in Frequency, and also Natalie Portman in Where the Heart Is. So 3 films to look at next time, and we will delve into those on the next episode. So until then, thank you very much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and also don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this on this channel. So with that said, I am off. I will see you guys next time, and until then, as always, take care.